Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sleeper Hold, where there are no disqualifications on the topics and falls count anywhere. Joining us, as always, is Zombie.
Who's slightly off camera.
Yep.
There he is.
Sorry, a little off camera.
Just directly to my left is the Kluganator.
Yep.
And I am the analyst, Robert Leach. Of course, Priest, due to some unforeseen circumstances, isn't going to be here this evening. It's just us three. We're going to have a lot of fun, and hopefully Priest will be able to join us next week. So, to start off, just WWE in general. They've got a lot of stuff going on. They've got not only next weekend, next Saturday, in fact, in Australia, they're doing the Super Showdown. We're going to see so many amazing matches. We're going to see Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles for the WWE title. The Miz versus Daniel Bryan, where the winner will face the WWE champion at a later date. Also, we're going to see The Undertaker take on Triple H for the very last time.
Or so they say.
Or so they say, because we've heard a lot of this. Well, once in a lifetime, and then twice in a lifetime, and then end of an era. Not quite yet. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
It's like the recently announced Kiss Farewell Tour. It's
yes.
Like the third or fourth time they've done it now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it's just wrestling is so, not necessarily unpredictable, but wrestling is so hard for people to step away from once they're involved in it for so long.
It is their life.
It's technically their life.
I mean, it's our lives.
Like, even if it's just a local company like PWA, it's my life.
Yeah.
Like, I get quite upset if someone tells me, hey, we don't have something for you on this show. Great, this is what I love, and I don't even have anything to do. But yeah, it's always something that people get so drawn into. And it's so hard for people to step away. We've seen it with people like Mick Foley and Ric Flair.
They still get involved in it decades after their retirement.
Right.
Definitely. And speaking of guys like Ric Flair and even Hulk Hogan, those are names that are rumored to be appearing at WWE's Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, they are WWE. They are wrestling. They are professional wrestling. That's what they're all about.
Exactly.
So who better to show up to something like that?
Yeah, I got me beat. Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan, two of the biggest legends in this industry.
I mean, hell, Ric Flair, he's even getting a special edition for
the Woo edition.
2K19, excuse me.
Yes.
The Woo edition, as you said.
I mean, it's just a lot of great things are happening with WWE. I mean, WWE has a 10-year deal with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia themselves, which has already brought in just this year $40 to $50 million to WWE. That's only the first year out of 10.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a hell of a lot more to come, I'm sure.
I mean, hell, we've already seen them expand toward Australia.
Yes.
I mean, there are so many other, larger countries that don't inhabit within this
because
universe.
They're so far across the ocean and across the globe that WWE, sometimes it gets difficult for WWE to travel that far away. Because, I mean, you're going to Saudi Arabia. You're going 18,000 miles away to Australia.
It's not impossible. I mean,
it's not impossible.
It's only expanding, hell, even the networks of indie developers like PWA that are across the world. Mm-hmm. It's going to give them that, that incentive to go, you know what? They're doing it here.
They can do that there.
We can do it there.
It's
I don't think we're going to see PWA on the global stage.
Well, I'm not saying anything about PWA being on the global stage. I'm talking more along the lines of a PWA, type company that's in, hell, even in Saudi Arabia, in Australia. I mean, I know plenty of guys that I play games with that are from Australia, that are from New Zealand, these different countries, and they talk about these little companies that they have, and I'm like, it's almost identical to what I see with PWA.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's kind of hard to compare WWE and PWA on that level. But in a way you can say it.
How else can you see it though?
In a way you can see it slightly different, because you see WWE, they're at such a standpoint, they can look at a map of the entire world and say, I want to go here. That's almost like handing PWA a map of the Midwest and they say, I want to go here.
But at one point in time, WWE was that, though.
They were.
At one point in time, WWF at the time.
They were talking like 75
Actually, if you want to be technical, it was the WWWF before Vince bought it from his father.
Well, regardless of what we see professional wrestling, the company known as WWE now, I mean, we're looking at a time whenever they only looked at what was the continental United States. And Vince would say, I would like to take us here, maybe? And then...
Wouldn't it be cool if we could branch out over here?
Wouldn't it be cool? And it's like, 4 or 5 hour bus ride. Now, and it's like, they're going across the world.
Now you're seeing...
it's just like, let's...
18, 20 hour airplane flights across the world. And it's...
We're seeing planes, we're seeing boats, we're seeing train cars with stuff of the WWE all over the world.
It's all being transported place to place. And it's an amazing sight to see them going to so many different places, especially when those places don't necessarily get all kinds of WWE like the United States.
Oh, sorry. Saul, Eric, one of our commentators.
What's up, Eric?
There's rumor that they will do a show called The Greatest WrestleMania after the actual WrestleMania.
Oh, let's just bastardize every pay-per-view name, why don't we?
I mean, WrestleMania was like the pay-per-view for a long time. Of course, Priest steps in and says, if they did that, it would be an insult to all they have done already.
Yeah, I mean, what's next? The greatest Hell in the Cell?
I mean, we don't need to do the greatest WrestleMania. Just take WrestleMania.
The greatest King of the Ring.
Saudi Arabia.
Just the WrestleMania. Why not? Why do they have to call it the greatest WrestleMania? Why don't they just call it the WrestleMania?
I mean, they don't have to put the greatest. They can
Saudi WrestleMania. How about just calling it Saudi WrestleMania? I mean, it's not.
How about just WrestleMania live from Saudi Arabia?
Exactly.
I mean, they can draw a whole bunch of people. You saw the greatest Royal Rumble. That was a packed stadium.
That was a hell of a show to watch, too.
Yes, and it's simply, they can put on
the greatest evolution.
Like this.
Yeah, like we'll ever see the greatest evolution.
The greatest evolution.
The
greatest tables, ladders, and chairs.
No, well, evolution being the women's one. We're not going to see something like that there. We're going to start doing WWE weekly shows from Saudi Arabia. The greatest Raw. The greatest 205 Live. It's it's just something that's being taken
SmackDown.
way out of proportion, definitely, and
the greatest. Yeah, we pretty much the greatest insert pay-per-view name here.
The greatest backlash, something like that. It's just, I think WWE, if they want to do a WrestleMania caliber event in Saudi Arabia, just do WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, or do a really high-profile event that's almost equivalent to the status of WrestleMania, but don't call it WrestleMania.
Or how about just call it something that's more connected to that region, instead of just throwing the greatest blank.
Yeah.
If we're going to do the greatest, why don't we just recycle the old WCW names? The greatest Starrcade! There you go.
There you go.
That'd be great. Nobody would care.
The greatest Halloween Havoc.
The greatest Bash at the Beach.
I'm gonna apologize right now for hell, that would be appropriate for the sand there. But I'm gonna apologize for the shakiness of the camera right now. I've got to figure this thing out. Well, every time we're hitting the table.
Oh, it's just the vibration from the table. I think it's more the table than the camera.
Well, it's on the tripod and it's just doing this. So.
Right.
Anyway, so, you know, WWE's got so much great stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, now he's bringing in PWA names to this. Eric, no.
Yeah, no.
The greatest grand wrestling spectacle.
Hey, that actually does sound. That actually doesn't sound good.
The grandest.
The grandest wrestling spectacle.
There you go.
The greatest
Okay,
blood, sweat, and
it.
tears.
That's
Anyway, so, like we were saying, you know, WWE's just got so much great stuff coming up in the future.
Mania for after they established. Oh, God.
Oh, by the way, if we're talking about WWE and doing big things,
Yeah, we're kind of talking about that a little bit. Why not?
How about the fact that one of this year's Mae Young Classic competitors has been banned from the United States for 5 years?
Who's that?
I can't remember her name right off the top of my head, but she
What
was
kind
in
of
the Mae
reporter
Young
are you?
Classic. Hey, I just read it online. I don't think it even said anything about her name. All I know is I read it. It said Mae Young Classic competitor banned from the U.S. for 5 years. You won't be seeing this one signed to WWE anytime soon.
I think he's looking it up right now.
Trying to.
It's simple. It's just, you know, so much stuff is happening with WWE. I'm just really glad we haven't seen any
Awesome.
spring cleaning, quote unquote,
Hey,
type
it's the first story.
activities. What do we got here?
Yeah, what do we got? Live right now. We're updating this as we speak.
Let's see here.
Zyler also.
Looks like Nicole Matthews.
Hey, who the hell's that?
A competitor in the Mae Young Classic.
She's a
Anyway,
Canadian,
so
isn't
Zeidler also says that he's
She's
seen a.
Canadian?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, that's
Eric
not-
Zeidler's also seen a rumor that the meeting between WWE and Impact Wrestling was to discuss a potential NXT versus Impact Super Show during WrestleMania
You know,
weekend.
I did hear about that actually. I had something popped up on my phone a few days ago about something like that, and I just kind of just disregarded it as being just BS.
Okay. I mean, would it be cool to see? Maybe, because you've got competitors like.
Not on the extent of trying to almost try to revive another war era, like what we had with WCW and WWF at the time. It's because Impact is nowhere near on the size scale of what WWF was at the time against WCW. I mean,
they were head-to-head in ratings for a long time.
It was constant doing this.
Now you got WWE's getting millions of viewers every week, and Impact's getting a few 100,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would be. I think it would be interesting, especially because you've got guys in Impact that used to wrestle for NXT. Guys like Austin Aries, guys like James Storm.
Well,
and you've also got guys in NXT that used to wrestle for Impact, like EC3.
Well, there's also a lot of guys that were, veterans from WWE that are a part of the whole ladder structure of what Impact is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would be kind of, I don't know if it would be better for them to try to advance them along with them. Maybe under the table kind of helping operate it and not try to compete, more or less just do stuff.
And if they are going to have them compete, try to build them up and
They
not
might.
only give them a great storyline, but maybe have Impact win.
I don't know, maybe Impact win, but maybe more or less along the lines of Impact actually like pushing them back to the point where it makes them go,
Where
they
it's
see them as a threat, and then they
like almost like a Survivor Series match, 5 of NXT's greatest versus 5 of Impact's greatest. And then you take that, have a Survivor Series match, have it come head to head where there's one last man standing on each side.
if they did it, it would be the purpose of combat against Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro.
Yeah.
Again, even with Ring of Honor and New Japan, it would be beneficial for everybody, not just WWE, not just Impact, not just New Japan, not just Ring of Honor, all of them. If they all were to operate underneath or behind the scenes to be able to actually be semblance of all underneath the same controls.
Yep. And, you know, it's just so much to talk about. So many rumors going around. But let's try to get off the rumor mill for a little bit, though, because this week we did see a decent episode of Raw and a decent episode of SmackDown.
Which I didn't catch them live.
I caught Raw, but I didn't catch SmackDown.
Yeah.
I caught like parts of each one.
Yeah.
With Raw,
with
Raw, we saw all night. Like the beginning of the show was the Shield came back out, their first entrance together in a hell of a long time.
Right.
And they were like, "We're back and we're better than ever." Strowman and his boys come out, say, "Hey, listen, you want to go down? Let's go down. We're going to go down in Australia. The 4 of us against the 2 of you." And Rollins was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" That's when the mind games began. Ambrose, look at the guys beside you. They both have titles, and you don't. You're doing all of their bidding, and you don't have anything from it. You're not holding anything over your shoulder. They are. We have the tag team titles. We can push you to be the next Intercontinental or Universal Champion.
Yeah.
Just come over with us. And those mind games were continuing all night until the main event, where the Shield, Roman Reigns, speared Baron Corbin to pin him in a 3-on-3 tag against Baron Corbin and the Authors of Pain.
So that's who you ended up going with, was the Authors of Pain to be try to do his bidding?
Yes. And it was actually a pretty decent matchup. But then what you had was you have Reigns spear Corbin. Rollins is right in there to celebrate with Reigns, and Ambrose is kind of in between the entrance ramp and the ring on his knee, and everyone's like, what's he going to do? Is he going to go with them, or is he going to go with them? He ended up going in and celebrating with his Shield brothers, like we all were hoping he would, or at least some of us were. Because I was kind of hoping he'd flip to the other side. That's not necessarily what happened, but it could happen in the future. Also, on SmackDown, then, we had a couple of bigger things happen. I mean, we saw R-Truth hijack Miz TV for Truth TV.
That actually,
I really Truth TV was more entertaining.
I really enjoyed Truth TV because it wasn't set to a perfect. It wasn't set to a perfect standpoint for every single show. It was set, all right, sometimes we have 5-second dance breaks.
Hey, that was awesome.
And
From the highlights that I saw of that particular bidding of it, I would much rather watch Truth TV than watch Miz TV.
Definitely. And to see that the Miz got so fired up and stormed off the stage because of it. And R-Truth was like, all right, you want your show back? I'll fight you for it.
And he'll fight him.
So they had a match for it. And what's really surprising is the Miz beat R-Truth with Daniel Bryan's running knee.
Yeah.
So just almost a slap in the face for Daniel Bryan. Almost like rubbing salt in the wound. Like, yeah, I beat you with brass knuckles. Me and my wife beat you and your wife at Hell in a Cell. Now I'm going to use your move. And I'm going to show you that I have everything down pat against you, and I'm going to beat you at the Super Showdown.
I don't think that's how it's going to end up happening. I think it's going to end up happening more along the lines of Miz is going to have his head get too big, and then R-Truth's going to freaking just plow right over him. As far as Miz right now, he's thinking, this is going to be a walk in the park. That's not how it's going to work.
He's thinking, all right, cool. I got R-Truth out of my way. Now on to Daniel Bryan. Maybe R-Truth's thinking, what the hell, you son of a bitch? You just beat me with someone else's move. How about do it with your own move?
He doesn't have any moves of his own.
And when he does them, they don't work.
He doesn't do them properly.
Anyway, so...
and R-Truth's got Carmella in his corner.
Yeah.
I mean...
And the Miz just got rid of Maurice because she's going back to take care of little Monroe Sky Mizanin. So, I mean, we're going to see at Super Showdown next weekend, we're going to see The Miz versus Daniel Bryan, where the winner will face the WWE Champion at a later date. The WWE Champion will either be Samoa Joe or AJ Styles. And this week on SmackDown, AJ Styles was in the ring and Samoa Joe said, "Hey buddy, listen, I'm on your doorstep." He rang the doorbell and he was like, "Daddy's home."
I'm still burned out of this whole thing with.
I thought it was getting really heated and pretty interesting when Joe attacked AJ for the very first time and like beat the absolute living crap out of him while he was in the middle of an interview. But now it's the daddy's home thing that's running a little too far. Like, it would have been great if it was just a one shot, but they have to carry that and keep it going every week and try to make something interesting out of it.
No.
But now nothing's coming of it.
It's too overdone. Too much of it. It's stupid.
They can put on a good match. It's just the storytelling here is kind of getting a little eh. All I'm saying is I kind of hope Samoa Joe takes the title off of AJ Styles, simply for the reason of I'm tired of some AJ Styles having the title.
He's had it for quite a while.
He's had it since November of last year when he won it in the United Kingdom. So many times.
Damn near every week.
I mean, as far as
he's no Lesnar by far.
Well, that's certainly good.
It's just the simple matter of.
As far as just giving Joe the title, I don't think Joe is going to be the one getting it. I think there's somebody else that clearly deserves this title, and it's not this creep factor of Samoa Joe that they're pulling off with him. It's going to be somebody else.
I think The Miz could defeat Daniel Bryan again.
Say what now?
I think The Miz could defeat Daniel Bryan again, and The
With
Miz
what
could
weapon?
win the title. Hey, that's up to The Miz and The Miz only. I'm not going to be one to try to convince him to use a certain weapon. But
how about he just win the match legitimately instead of being the douchebag that he is?
Because The Miz has always been a douchebag.
What's the same? What would be something if I actually am saying this now, like if Miz was to pull off a legitimate victory without any cheating, without any weaponry, without anything trying to pull strings in his favor, if he actually won the match legitimately.
he just did against R-Truth, just with someone else's move.
I'm not calling that a legitimate victory. That was bullshit.
I don't know. It's simply
I'm
a matter of
actually competing and actually winning the match legitimately.
I think what's going to happen is AJ's going to beat Samoa Joe again, and then they're going to go on and have The Miz beat Daniel Bryan and have an AJ Styles versus The Miz feud, something like that, and then maybe go on for the main event of WrestleMania, The Miz versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE title.
Miz has been doing this heel BS for a long time. He's a good heel. What's to say he doesn't flip? What's
Crowd wouldn't accept it.
If they do it the right way, the
they
crowd
hate him too much.
They love to hate him too much, essentially.
I would actually be a support of him if he were to actually be a legitimate victor in the match.
I mean, you got about as much chance as the crowd cheering Roman.
I don't know. That's people are supporting somewhat of what Roman was doing a while back against Lesnar.
That's because it was against Lesnar.
In my eyes, it's just got to be done the right way, because you can't just take The Miz,
do
who's
it legitimately
in the
right
position
way,
that he's in right now. You can't take The Miz and just at the flip of a coin.
If anybody can pull it off, it'd be him.
It could be.
I'm just saying.
Only if
anybody
WWE
could
does it
pull
right.
off, it would be him.
Yeah, but only if WWE plans it out right.
That's supposed to say they couldn't.
I don't know. I still think it's
the storytelling been quite dry.
Awful idea.
Anyway,
Really awful.
So also on SmackDown we had Charlotte was taking promo pictures backstage.
Yeah.
And got attacked from behind by Becky Lynch, who insisted, "Hey, take my picture.
Take the chance
her ass." And Becky was like, "I'm gonna beat your ass, and I'm gonna do it again and again and again, no matter how many rematches you take. I'm gonna keep doing it." And sure as hell, she's been doing it.
Right.
Becky Lynch has been beating Charlotte's ass every single week for as long as she's wanted to. And I don't think Becky's going to stop anytime soon. Because Becky is Becky, and she's got, no pun intended, but she's got a straight fire lit under her ass.
I'm not going to disagree.
She's found a new attitude, and I love the new attitude. And she's going to show Charlotte, look, sorry, you're not getting this title again as long as I'm the holder of it. And this thing's just getting so heated. What's to come?
She'll hold it for a while. I feel like Becky will be the title holder for quite some time.
Definitely.
I mean, that would be inappropriate indeed. I knew it was coming whenever I said that. That would be an appropriate time for that.
See, I have finally fallen off the Indeed wagon, and there's still so many options for an Indeed.
Yeah.
And I just never do it anymore.
Well, you worked it out. I mean,
you were doing it like every 2 minutes.
Indeed.
See,
anyway, so
we're not
going back. We're not going back to that. But anyway, so that was WWE this week. Not really too much to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, we got
one thing we didn't mention from Raw actually is McIntyre and Ziggler beat the Revival to retain their titles.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was pretty convincing. The Revival had it out pretty good in that matchup. But anyway, so now we've got WWE out of the way. Let's move on to some local wrestling.
Yeah.
PWA this past weekend had
Jacksonville.
High Voltage in Jacksonville, Illinois. It was a lot of fun. We opened up the show and we saw Savannah Stone.
Wish I could have been there. I messed up.
Yeah. I mean, it was a decent show. It was actually pretty good. We started off with Savannah Stone.
Yeah.
Made her way out. Was like, hey.
She debuted the previous one, One Shall Fall, right?
No, she debuted back. It was the Fight Before Christmas.
Yeah, and she actually was on WWE programming in a squash match.
Oh, really?
Nia.
I think I remember you mentioning that one before. Damn. To be on a squash match with her?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And here, she was only 17.
We're going to throw you out there so you can get your ass kicked.
Pretty much. Yeah. Just feed
hey, here's a paycheck.
Exactly.
Well, all right, here we go.
Yeah, all right, I'll take 4 bumps and a tree trunk across my chest. Sure. Anyway, so Savannah Stone actually beat Harley.
Surprising,
but that's what happened.
Wow.
Savannah Stone defeated Harley, and I was in shock because Harley's been on a roll as the queen of PWA. She hasn't lost a match in quite a while.
Right.
And now, I mean, look, she just got defeated 1-2-3 by Savannah Stone.
Like legit defeat, or was something else?
It was a legit defeat. There wasn't a disqualification or anything.
I meant like they didn't do anything to.
Was there any
questionable
questionable tactics?
Yeah.
Not that I can remember.
So in other words,
of course, definitely some hair pulling.
Hair pulling is going to happen.
That's going to happen. Yeah.
Women's match.
But I don't remember any.
Right, because we did talk to, I remember me and Priest actually talking to Harley about having her in here at some point in time. I believe there was somebody else too that you.
Yeah, but we'll keep that name under wraps.
I'm not gonna say it obviously, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Savannah Stone defeated Harley.
Okay.
Next up, Casey Jackson came out. He was like, "Hey, listen, tonight I was supposed to get my title rematch from Spectacle against Jake Lander.
I was gonna say.
But apparently Lander's car broke down. And
really?
That's what actually happened. Casey was like, I'm tired of Lander coming up with these lame excuses to duck a match with me. I want Lander to just step in this ring man to man and take his beating like he's going to get. And so we had enough. We were like, hey, listen, Casey, you may not be getting your match tonight, but you'll get it next week in Athens.
And that's supposed to be
assuming nothing happens.
That's big.
Assuming nothing happens, because
that's the first of the two.
That's the first of the two events.
Yes.
But KC will get his match Saturday, as long as everything goes well. Because what I've heard, Lander had like a nasty cyst in his chest that he had removed.
Yeah.
And I talked to him. He said he's not sure if he'll be able to wrestle Saturday. Hopefully he will, but we'll understand, of course, because that's an injury keeping him out of action. That's nothing anyone can control.
Right.
It wasn't like his choice to have a cyst in his chest. So, as of right now, the planned main event for Athens is going to be Jake Lander defending the regional heavyweight title against Casey Jackson.
But as always with any wrestling card is subject to change.
Card subject to change.
In other words, the card's going to change.
Well, no, not we don't know. It's probably won't until day of show.
When you're sure to emphasize it that way.
Well, I'm just saying, in case it doesn't.
Something like that.
Yeah. But anyway, so our second match of High Voltage saw a 2-on-1 handicap because Dan Liplock and the Model Bishop came out. Dan Liplock was like, listen, give me some competition. I want a match. Chase Brooks came out. He was like, hey, listen, Bishop, I've had my problems with you. It seems you've got your new running buddy, Dan Liplock. I want a piece of you, Bishop. Liplock was like, hey, Brooks, you're going to have to go after me. And you're going to have to go through me to get to him. Brooks was like, I don't give a damn. I'll go through both of you at the same time. So we had a 2-on-1 handicap match as the Model Bishop and Handsome Dan Liplock took on Chase Brooks. And it was a very one-sided matchup. The Model Bishop and Dan Liplock definitely had it out for Chase Brooks, and they weren't giving him a break. But there was once Bishop tagged himself in from Dan Liplock. And Liplock was like, hey, what the hell are you doing? The two got in an argument. Chase Brooks, with a cheap roll-up from behind, 1, 2, 3, ran out of the ring.
Pretty much sums it up, yeah.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And he Chase Brooks was going on Facebook talking about how that was a hard-fought victory. And talking about how he beat Handsome Dan and the Model Bishop. I'm like, with a cheap schoolboy. But we're not going to get into that, no. We're going to get into our third match from the evening, which saw Attitude Inc. defend the new PWA Tag Team Championships against IJ Sweet and Johnny Kincaid. Attitude Inc. were successful in their first title defense with the new belts. And trust me, these are beautiful belts. Come out to PWA this Saturday and you'll see them.
If you would have reminded me, I could have probably pulled some strings and got one of them in here, so people could see them.
We'll just have to show them next week.
We can do it next week.
I'll see if I can do that for next week.
Anyway, so
I think I remember seeing it.
I mean, IJ Sweet was really in there for the most of the match.
Yeah. Because
Johnny Kincaid, who has this new like attitude like he's from a roadhouse or something. I don't know. He came out in jeans and a white t-shirt like he's from a damn roadhouse in Chinatown. He says he's from the mean streets of Chinatown, and He's a 14th degree. He's still a 14th degree black belt in American style Kenpo karate. And Johnny Kincaid's a strange character. And IJ Sweet came out in the good old Roscoe pants. Definitely, that was a lot of fun. Did you notice that?
I thought they looked familiar.
But anyway, so Attitude Inc. Very convincingly defeated IJ Sweet and Johnny Kincaid, pinning IJ Sweet off the hold the phone tag team finisher. Anyway, next up we saw Sean Orleans get defeated by Cardini in his PWA debut, losing his first match against Cardini. And it was pretty convincing. There wasn't really any dirty tactics involved there. It was just Cardini beat Sean Orleans. Clean as a whistle. It was a good match. I'll give it to him. Sean Orleans is really good.
Sean Orleans.
The dad bod, as he called himself. Sean Orleans, yes. Anyway, so it was a good match for Sean Orleans' first one. I was impressed. Anyway,
the analyst was impressed.
The analyst approval. Anyway, so next we saw for the 4th time ever, Victor Analog versus the returning Brian Ely, making his first PWA in-ring appearance since the Grand Wrestling Spectacle, where he had torn his meniscus in his 4-on-4 match with Madman.
Okay.
Brian was out all summer, and he finally came back, and he's like, listen up, hey, I'm better than ever, and I'm facing Victor Analog. Victor Analog, couple knees to face. And he beat Brian Ely 1-2-3 in the middle of the ring.
Wow.
I know Ely was telling me at some point before the show that he had some new entrance gear planned out for future, but we'll see how that goes.
We'll have to see how that goes. Anyway, so then the main event, because while Casey was out there earlier in the night, Hada came out and he was like, hey, listen, you shut up now. You have no match. I have no match. Now we do. Let's have a match in the main event. Casey was like, fine. Tonight, you're Jake Lander. Tonight, I'm going to beat the hell out of you. And that Casey kind of did, because Hada was about to win. He had Casey set up for Sister Abigail. And Cardini comes out and jumps up on the apron. Cardini attacked Hada back at the Grand Wrestling Spectacle, and for some reason still has an obsession with costing Hada all these kinds of matches. So, Cardini distracts Hada. Hada actually goes for Sister Abigail. Casey rolls out of it, pushes Hada into Cardini, rolls up Hada from behind for the 1-2-3. Cardini got in the ring to try to finish up the job. Hada hits Cardini with Sister Abigail. And Hada's like, listen, we have our problems, and we're going to end it once and for all in a Nightmare on 8th Street fight at Brawloween on October 13th.
It's pretty much a anywhere,
Falls count anywhere.
Anything goes.
No disqualification. No rope break. No count out. Anything goes. And I've seen Hada. Hada has put the likes of Derek Moss through ladders, tables,
through Thanksgiving dinners.
That ended up getting all over my leather jacket. Hada can play mind games, let me tell you what, because Hada was in that match with Derek Moss a couple of years ago, and he had a bag that looked like thumbtacks. Poured him in the center of the ring. Went to slam Moss onto him, and he did. Picked one up and ate it. There were gummy bears.
Forgot about that.
Wow.
Hada has the mind games, and he definitely has the mentality for one of these matches. Hada looks to beat the hell out of Cardini in this Nightmare on 8th Street fight.
All right, then.
And I can't wait to see what happens. Speaking of the future, this Saturday, September 29th,
Yeah, I'm fine.
2018, PWA will be doing a double header, 2 shows in one day. At
2 different cities.
2 different cities. At 1 o'clock, in Athens. Free admission to the public for both shows, by the way. 1 o'clock in Athens, Illinois at the community park. Just look up the address, 210 Dottie Bednarko Drive in Athens. And
AKA right out in front of City Hall.
We'll
right out in front of City Hall.
We'll put these addresses down in the description after the video is done.
Definitely. Anyway, so we're going to have the Athens show. I can tell you that, of course, the advertised main event as of right now is KC Jackson versus Jake Lander for the regional heavyweight title.
Makes sense.
I can also tell you that advertised to be there is also Cardini, Handsome Dan Liplock,
Okay.
IJ Sweet, Johnny Kincaid, Truck Thompson is going to be in Athens as well.
Right.
And Brian Ely is going to be in Athens as well.
Magnus and
Perhaps Magnus. Perhaps. We'll have to see what happens. It depends on if he can take that much time away from ruling in Magnistan, ruling over his people, to come and wrestle a match in Athens and maybe even Beardstown.
Right.
Because also in Beardstown, we've got the advertised main event at 6 p.m. in Beardstown at Art Zeke Park on the square in Beardstown. We're going to see Victor Analog finally get his regional heavyweight title opportunity against either KC Jackson or Jake Lander, whoever wins in Athens.
So whoever wins in Athens.
Either way, someone's doing double duty tonight from that main event. Also appearing, Brian Ely's doing both shows.
Damn.
So's Truck Thompson, and I believe Handsome Dan Liplock as well.
A lot of people
Even
doing double
IJ
duty.
Sweet and Johnny Kincaid.
A lot of people doing double duty.
Hell, I'm doing double duty.
Yeah, me too.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I wasn't
definitely.
sure whether or not I was going to be able to, but I'll try to be there. I hope I can.
I mean, it's going to be hard to do, but it's going to be a lot of fun to do.
I think it'd be a little easier to do from my perspective.
Definitely,
I won't be in
because,
the ring, but I mean, I'll be.
because that morning,
right.
you don't understand. That morning, I have to be at the school at 9:30 a.m. in Athens
Yeah.
to play my trumpet in a parade.
He's got a toot horn.
I've got to toot my own horn.
As he toots his own horn about tooting his own horn.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't mean to toot
Indeed.
my own horn, but I toot a horn in the marching band. Anyway, so
Never
That-
finish.
that's
Well, it's
why
not the butt trumpet.
Yeah.
at 7:30,
I
because
don't want to be
also
around that one.
because also I have to pull the trailer with the ring on it.
Yeah.
So at 8 o'clock in the morning, we're meeting to load the ring. Then from there, I'm going to do the parade. I'm going to park the trailer at the Athens Community Park. Walk from the park to the school, to walk from the school to that very same park.
Wow.
Do
Must
a
be a
show.
very long trip.
After I announce the show, then get in that truck, drive it an hour away to Beardstown, set up the ring, and have another show.
In case you can't see, world's smallest violin.
Anyway, I'm going to be dead by the end of it, just so everyone knows. I'm literally not.
We'll have to emphasize that. Maybe get a little audio track added into that.
But anyway, so yeah, this Saturday it's going to be a lot of fun, definitely. Athens at 1 o'clock, Beardstown at 6 o'clock. Free admission to the public for both shows. We'll have our PWA merchandise there.
Yep.
And of course, there will be food vendors all over because they're both fall festivals.
Right.
So there's going to be food vendors everywhere. Go grab something to eat, come watch some wrestling, have a lot of fun. Go to both shows if you want, if you feel like making that drive. It's definitely going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for Saturday. Also, October 13th, as I mentioned, Brawloween at the 8th Street Gym, 1401 North 8th Street, right here in Springfield. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got the multi-man over-the-top rope brawl Toberfest Battle Royal. We've also got the women's tag team match, which will pit Shauna Reed and Savannah Stone taking on Harley and former WWE superstar Victoria. as well as the Nightmare on 8th Street fight between Hannah and Cardini. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tickets for that show, adults $10, kids 6 to 12, $7. Kids 5 and under, always free. I can't wait for the future of PWA. I can't wait for the future of WWE. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got so much great stuff coming towards us in the future.
Sounds like going to be a lot of fun.
It will be. Definitely, it will be.
Indeed.
Indeed. Let's not jump on that again. You're going to get me hooked on saying it again.
Well,
Indeed.
Hey, I've had a few weeks that I got to make up for some crashes I've not.
Yes.
I mean, I picked on y'all for like a few minutes last week. I mean,
Yeah, I remember somebody calling bullshit on something from the other room.
Yeah. I heard something. I heard it from the other room, and I'm just as soon as I heard it, I had to come over and like bullshit.
Yeah, because we could hear you from wherever you were when you said it.
I was in the.
I don't know if the listeners heard it, but
Because what was that about again? Handsome Dan Liplock getting beat by Chuck Thompson or something like that? Or was it Victor Analog? Something.
I don't remember. I'd have to look back now. Something about Truck losing. Actually, I think is what it was.
Truck should have lost. Truck's lucky he won.
I think that's where I call it bullshit. Was having Truck losing against one of those you mentioned. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Anyway, we have anything else, guys?
I was gonna say I've encountered Truck before myself, and I may be taller than him, but he's got the.
Why the hell do you think for one night only, Dan Liplock got in the ring, and I understand he was in a bad mood. He was just in a bad mood. His car had a flat tire. It was a bad day for Dan Liplock. And he got in the ring. He looked at me. He was like, "Get the hell out of the ring." I'm like, "Hey, all right, yes, sir." I walked over to the ticket table. Truck Thompson came out after Dan Liplock was like, "Listen, I want a match. Give me some competition." Truck comes out. Liplock's like, "Oh, hell no, I'm going to back. I'm just going to back out of this." And he's trying to go out through by the ticket table. I was right there. I'm like, "Liplock, I'm right here." He backed into me. And I kind of just chased him in the other direction. And he was kind of picked up and military pressed and thrown into the ring by Truck Thompson.
Why am I not surprised that was something that happened?
Truck Thompson does that to everyone.
Yeah, Truck could do that to anybody. Like, I mean,
it's more entertaining when he does it to guys like Lander because they're so much smaller and he can throw them farther.
And he doesn't do it with any, like, there's no strain at all. It's just like that.
It's more of just a, almost like he just picked up a duffel bag filled with sweatpants and just,
yeah,
there you go.
It's like he's throwing a bag in the overhead compartment on a plane.
Yeah.
Just without any. Just,
right.
I think actually, I think there was a comedian that mentioned somebody doing something like that. I think it was Pat Oswalt said something about the bigger guy, about the size of Truck, actually a little shorter maybe, just pressing somebody up without any strain or stress, just whoop, up.
There you go.
Not even a it was just up.
There you go.
Just like that.
Oh, buddy, you got a problem? All right, here we go. There you go.
I just want to hear Truck say that next time you pick somebody up.
I want to hear Truck do commentary when he's throwing someone in the ring. I think that would be even better.
I would rather hear his commentary than other people's commentary. Is that okay?
Let's not get into that. No.
It's your opinion.
I didn't say anybody's name.
Zombie's opinions are those of his own, and not reflected in a sleeper hold.
It's usually my line.
Usually that's my line.
Well, I don't know. I'm the one who started that. Because I do it in the chat feed when you guys were.
I want to hear Truck's commentary, like when he picks up Lander. All right, little buddy, there you go, and just just kind of a pat on the back. Right, here you go, little buddy.
Right there, just like.
Who are they now? The Skipper and Gilligan?
I'll pull a CM Punk. I'm going to pull a CM Punk. Whoops, we're breaking the fourth wall. Anyway, so.
Fourth wall. What's this?
What happened to the other three?
Yeah, exactly.
The other three are around us.
Oh, that's right.
fourth wall's right there.
What happens when you break the fourth wall inside the fourth wall?
You fall in to an undying event, an undying fit called limbo.
Ouch. It just went to a whole different perspective there. I was just
If I remembered the whole opening of the Twilight Zone, I would have went into that.
See, I was thinking more along the lines of what happened with Deadpool.
I love
There's like 16 walls.
I love Deadpool. Deadpool 2, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. We're not going there though, since this is wrestling, not movies.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fighting.
This isn't Geek Awakens.
It's not Geek Awakening.
The end credits is the entrance theme for Marco Stunt, who was on All In. There you go. There's relation to wrestling.
Okay. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the extent of what we've.
We Belong by Pat Benatar.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. But anyways,
Well, we are running
Hi
a
up
little
there.
early, but
we're pretty much done.
I'm just trying to stall because we don't have anything else to say, and we haven't hit an hour.
Oh, we're 51 minutes right now. We try to do this. We want to do this every week. We might as well just fill in on what our plans and goals and shit are. Yeah. I imagine one of us will try to even get some interviews this Saturday.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That was the plan. I got one for the PWA Snapchat with Brian Ely.
We're still talking to another potential few interviews.
Yes.
Still, I gotta have that first one here though. We haven't had a live interview here at the studio yet.
Definitely. Not yet.
not in this studio.
No, not in this studio. But every Thursday, 8 p.m. for an hour, we're here.
Or less, or more, depending on
I mean,
what tangent we
I
go
think,
on.
what was it? Did you guys run just a little over an hour last?
Yeah, I think we were just a little over.
And we were still done pretty early, weren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just around 9 o'clock when y'all left. So.
Yeah, I think we were about 5 minutes over last week. I thought.
I mean, I was partly conscious for most of it. Probably
Just
more
partly?
Probably more for the part where I heard the bullshit and then I called it. That was pretty much the extent of my presence for that particular part of it. God, it is warm in here.
Yeah, it is quite warm in here today.
And that fan is just not doing anything.
Yeah. If we turn it up much louder, though, it starts to bleed into the sound.
We don't want that.
Yeah. But I don't think the viewers want that either.
Yeah, no, I don't think they want
Here.
that either. Just that constant. But, yeah,
Well, I think we're going to go ahead and call it a night then,
Yeah.
guys.
sounds about right.
What a wonderful show we had here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we started to do impressions last week.
Oh, is that what
did.
Yeah, that's what we were doing.
I
towards
must
the
have
end
missed
there.
that part of it.
This is the same one I did last week, but hey.
Were you building up a repertoire of characters you're going to call upon?
And then we were doing like different cartoon ones, like Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, really?
And
I'll have to watch back that part.
cartoon and stuff like that.
Oh, those are yours. Those are your.
Well,
yeah.
Joe, the
Well,
dude
you
in the
weren't in
wheelchair from
Yeah,
Family
well, usually you and I do the Beavis and Butthead.
The dude in the wheelchair from Family Guy. Joe, isn't
Joe.
it? Joe,
Yeah.
Hey, Peter. That kind of, it's...
Not bad. But no,
Not bad at all.
gosh.
Hey, boy. Would I like to come down and get a
I think mine sounded a little better.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's an easy.
Anyways, I think we're going to call it a
I
night.
used to spend the sleep.
Thanks for everybody, for those of you that did come through and watch with us. And If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button.
If you
Be sure to
enjoyed
do so.
this episode of the
and that little
Sleeper Hole,
notification bell.
Yep, hit that. Make sure you ring the bell. Make sure you know when we go
That's
live.
right.
So, and when we upload. So
punch that subscribe button, slap the like button on this video, and ring the bell because this one's over. We've been the Sleeper Hole, where there are no disqualifications on the topics and falls count anywhere. Everybody say bye.
goodbye.
Screw you guys. We're going in.